If you've ever looked up how to make money online, you've came across Iman Gadzhi. Iman is one of the biggest names in the space, and he has actually gained 2 million subs in less than a year. In this niche, it's unheard of, never done before, insane. Iman mainly got started with his whole agency business model, but he also has a lot to say about other businesses. He actually made quite a few comments on dropshipping, which I think are bad. And today we are going to be reacting to exactly those.
Dropshipping. If you've looked into how to make money online, you've probably already come across this. It's not really feasible. In the times that we live in, the shipping costs, the shipping times, quite frankly, dropshipping isn't hugely profitable until you do it at scale. And in order to do it at scale, you have to have hundreds and hundreds of orders a day. And in order to accomplish that, you need to pay for ads. Running ads can be a very rocky road, and especially when it comes for dropshipping businesses, because I can tell you right now, Facebook and Google do not like dropshipping businesses.
It's not really feasible.
Made almost 400K a month.
Almost 102K.
It is 250K in revenue.
It's $800 to $1,000 every day.
More than $1 million in revenue.
For this month, we're at 47.
A couple of things he actually says here are very valid. Let's go through all the arguments he basically put on why dropshipping is bad and go through them one by one. Very first of all, shipping times. Now, true, shipping times are kind of terrible with dropshipping if you do it wrong. If you just go through AliExpress, etc., it's actually terrible. It's a mess. I did this mistake in the beginning, had tons of struggles because of it. I would highly recommend not going to AliExpress. If you have a private agent, it takes around 5 to 12 days to actually deliver. That's not bad. That's totally fine. As long as you're actually honest about this on your product page, people will understand. People are waiting for much longer than this. It's not a big deal at all, as long as you communicate this clearly. The other thing he says is that you have to have like hundreds of orders per day to make money, basically. You need to scale to crazy numbers to make little money. Reality is, if you're doing ads, in some cases that's true. If you're doing Facebook or TikTok ads, you're gonna have 15 to 35% margin. So actually you do have to make way more money on paper than you actually make in profit. But since organic is there, the whole game has changed. You literally can get up to 80% margins without a problem at all if you do organic dropshipping. There is literally no ad cost at all, and your margins are insane. And the last thing he says, and that's actually something I definitely agree with, is his take on Facebook. It's 100% true that Facebook hates dropshippers. That's 100% correct. I agree with that. And we've seen this so many times where you basically just get blocked for no real reason. You follow all the policy and still you get blocked because of past issues which Facebook had with dropshippers. There are two things you can do to avoid all of this. Number one is agency accounts. You can definitely start using those. If you start using agency accounts, a lot of your Facebook problems will go away, and it's actually not that difficult to get in contact with them. We basically provide contacts to an agency in our program, and those accounts are actually very stable. And number two is if you for some reason cannot access agency accounts, you can just do TikTok organic. And again, organic, no blocks at all, no problems.
Now you need to understand that picking the wrong model will absolutely obliterate your chances of any success. And not only choosing the wrong model, but choosing the wrong strategy that surrounds that model. And this holds very, very true with the first way that I'm going to suggest, which is dropshipping. Now, historically, I have never been a fan of dropshipping over the years.
For the most part, I think it's a dying model, and I think 90% of dropshippers are gonna die. This is just me, this is my opinion. I could be completely wrong.
And that is because when you are first starting out in business, it is all about offense and defense. It's about choosing business models where the risk to reward ratio is in your favor. And I've seen it time and time again over the past few years where people will spend $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, hell, even $10,000 on ads, just putting more money into ads, trying to find a winning product, and it just doesn't work. Now the beauty is in 2023, you can use free traffic sources like TikTok, Reels, even YouTube Shorts, and you can use these in order to validate your product. When it comes to dropshipping, the most important thing, everyone thinks the most important thing is having a fancy headline or fancy creative or all of this, when no, the most important thing is product selection. Finding the right product, and not only finding the right product, but in the right timing. Because listen, in the same way, I think it was 2014 or 2015, fidget spinners were the craze. I remember all of my friends, they all rocked up to school, they all had fidget spinners, they all ended up getting confiscated because they would just play around with it in class and stuff like that. So if you found that product back then, well then you'd be doing pretty well. Whereas these days, that's just no longer a winning product. So it is totally okay to constantly be chopping, changing, finding new winning products, just as long as you are not pouring money down the drain with ads, which is why in 2023, I would recommend it as a viable business model.
All right, so I actually like this. A couple of very valid points. Number one, product selection is by far the most important thing. 100% agreed. I've seen it time and time again. If you select a really good product, everything just falls into place. People want to buy a product. They see it on your site. The site is not the best, but still they buy it because they want the product. Your creative is not the best, but your product is so good that it makes the creative blow up because you just show your product and it's so cool that people want to buy it. That's it. Product selection is king. I've been preaching this for years. 100% agree. Now, when it comes to the whole thing with ads, I understand what he means, and I also partially agree. He basically says that if you start dropshipping, only do it with organic. Facebook ads and ads in general are dead. You shouldn't do them. I get it. Ads are much harder than organic to a beginner if you start out. There's literally one strategy I know, which is not that, besides organic. If you only talk about ads, there's one specific strategy which we teach in the program, which actually still works for beginners, where you don't have to spend like $10,000 to find a winning product, if even that. I'm not going to mention that one here on YouTube because if I mention it too much, it's literally going to die out. It's a very niche thing specifically only for students. But with that being said, we have a bunch of people on this channel also made a shit ton of money with ads, and running dropshipping ads, it's definitely not dead, but it's much harder than starting out with organic, especially if you don't have this specific strategy. This whole thing of burning a shit ton of money to find a winning product, it's correct. A lot of people do that, and so many people just fall out because of that. They test a bunch of product, nothing works. They think dropshipping is dead, and they move on. In reality, they didn't pick the right products. They didn't have the right strategy. It's as simple as that. If you pick really good product and have a really good strategy, it just works. It's as simple as that. But with all that being said, if you have more than 3 hours per day for dropshipping, I would highly recommend starting out with organic. That's definitely the thing which I agree with here also in the video, because he basically said that organic is by far the easiest way to start out with. I agree. As a beginner, this is a game changer, all right? If you already have a ton of experience, sure, go for ads. But if you don't have a perfect strategy on the ads, do organic and that's it. Stick to that. It doesn't make sense to do anything else. So to conclude everything here, I actually agree with a lot of things he said. And the main one is, if you're starting out, I would recommend organic right now. Organic dropshipping is by far the easiest thing to start out with if you are a beginner and have more than 3 hours every single day to invest into this. This is mandatory. If you have less, don't do it. But the point in general is, a lot of business models in general work. Dropshipping is 100% one of them. The question is, can you select the right strategy and avoid all the mistakes which you're gonna do eventually anyways? And the answer to that in most cases is unfortunately no, if you do things by yourself. And that's also the reason why we have our program where we guide you through the entire process of finding a good product. We're literally gonna go through your sheet where you put in all the products you find and we tell you, this product is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad. We pick the top one, move on to the next step, build the store with you together. We teach you how to make the videos to go viral with, how to get sales on organic, and also we teach you a very specific Facebook strategy if you don't have enough time or energy to do organic. All right, this Facebook strategy definitely works 100%. If you just go through this channel, you're going to see tons of case studies of people making this exact strategy work. So very first of all, if you're new to this channel, I would highly recommend going through these case studies first to see how this whole thing works. You're just gonna see people starting from zero and making millions of dollars with dropshipping, with ads, with organic. You're gonna see a bunch of different case studies here, which are gonna be super valuable. So definitely check that out. If you already know me and wanna work with me right away, click the link below and sign up for a call with me. We're gonna find out if everything is a good fit. If yes, we're gonna start working. If no, then not.